Greetings, backers. My name is Brian Gabrielson. I'm the president and owner of Bad Crow Games. First, I want to say sorry for how long it has taken us to get you samples and an updated timeline. We have spent months and months trying to get our updated samples from our manufacturer. Ran into a host of issues, which I'll probably talk about in another update, but we got them. So first off, the box we think turned out fantastic. We love the sort of the highlights on there. The box turned out really nice. It's really sharp product. It turned out really good. Let's dive into the meat of everything. So let me set that off to the side here. Where to start with? Let's start with the Harmony cards, and let's start with our, there we go, level 1 Harmony cards, right? Silver foil. The foil turned out really sharp. One of the other issues that we've had with our Harmony cards is on the back side, or the front side of them, if you will, just readability of them. And this turned out perfect. It's exactly what we're looking for. That is a done component. No changes. So level 1 Harmony cards, basically perfect. Level 2 Harmony cards, again, gold foil, great readability on it. Perfect. It's exactly what we're looking for. Done component, right? We can just cross that one off. And then our last stage of, or not necessarily last stage, but our comic cards. These turned out even better than we were hoping. We love the red foil. Just overall, just turned out fantastic, right? I mean, love it. So props to our graphic designer, Aaron, on that one. We originally had a little comic going across, and it just looked kind of cheesy. Didn't look perfect. Then we came up with the idea of this one. Great implementation. Fantastic. Again, done component. So Harmony cards, perfect, great. So one whole component, done, ready to start printing on that. Let's go to our technique cards. Some foil highlights on there. Those turned out really good. Again, overall, this turned out exactly what we're looking for. This is a great component. Again, we have a ton of them. You get a ton of these technique cards. And again, the technique cards are used for when you finish training your Harmony cards. You then can spend those to upgrade and buy technique cards, which increase your mastery. And they will allow you to swap out your dice. So instead of having your basic dice, you upgrade and swap them out for, in this case, your water dice or earth dice, which will make it much, much more easy to complete challenges and then eventually face Ozai. All right, next. So those components are great. They're done. Now let's move into the components that are not perfect. So we have our challenge cards. Again, we came out with a lot of different challenge cards. Some of those are, let me set those off to the side. We added a lot. The things on these that went really well is we changed the formatting and the structure of how the card is displayed. And it is great. We really like it. Increases the readability, the intuitive nature on what's the challenge, what's the reward, and it left us a lot of room for one of the stretch rewards was to add flavor text to the bottom. So we've got great flavor text on all the cards now. The readability is great. They just came out a titch darker than we would like. The contrast on them is just a little bit darker. So we're going to work on increasing the brightness on all of the images. Other than that, they're great. Those are great cards. Everything on those is perfect, except for the brightness on those. Now we've had some backers asking about our enemies, our bosses, right? So we have 3 bosses. We have the Melon Lord, the Fire Lord, and Nightmare Ozai. And just like the other ones, those turned out really good with the formatting, the structure of how everything's displayed, but the images are just a titch dark. I don't know how well you can sort of see that. They're just a little bit darker than we would prefer. Very easy fix. That's something that we can basically fix in, I mean, we already have it fixed. We just need to get the new samples from the manufacturer to see if that fix has worked. So slight problem with those ones, very minor. And that's the exact same issue we have with all the companion cards. Look at all those companions we've added. So many companions. It's crazy. So that's one of the best things and most fun that I think we're going to have is picking which one of these companions do we want to play as. They all have completely reworked and unique abilities. It's awesome. We're really going to love them. They are a little bit dark. So they're just darker than we would like. We like them to be a little bit brighter. Other than that, we spent a lot of time changing the font size and the font a little bit and kind of tweaking for better readability, and that turned out really well. That's just the cards are a little bit dark. So we have a little bit of a contrast issue. Otherwise, they're great. They're awesome cards. Next, I'll do dice in a little bit. We'll switch to the dice. Well, I've got them right here with me. Let's talk about some of the miniatures. These were included in the all-in pledge and in the iconic location pack. And they come either gray or painted. I do not have any of the gray samples. They just sent me the painted. Now, for instance, the Eastern Air Temple is perfect. It's structurally really strong. The painting turned out really well. There's little great gold highlights throughout. This is, for me, exactly what we wanted. This is it. This is what we wanted. I hope all of you are very satisfied with how this one turned out. There's 5 of them, and this one is perfect, right? No changes. Leave it exactly as is. Next, we have Avatar Kyoshi's statue. Also, turned out pretty much exactly what we wanted. The size, the colors. We had issues with the fans breaking, but they fixed that. Yes, you're not going to want to let your dog chew on it, but they're not going to break with just casual use. So that one also turned out great. No changes. Ba Sing Se. Now this one turned out a little bit too yellow. And this is going to be a problem you'll see with our dice tower. Just the yellow turned out a little bit too yellowy. So we're going to work on getting that changed. That's a very simple change. It's not really difficult, but it will delay things a little bit. Anytime we request new samples, there's a little bit of a delay as they change it, send it back to us. Otherwise, really nice, really sharp. The green, the roads turned out really well. Everything, all the other colors are really sharp. Just a little bit too yellow on that one. And then I do not have the other two. I don't have the Northern Water Tribes Palace or the Fire Palace. But we do have Aang, which is our main piece. This is the main piece that we're going to be moving. Now, the cloud on our original one was more transparent. I think I literally have one right here. It was more translucent. And so we're going to go back to that. We like that translucency more than this solid color. So we don't like that. It's okay, but we're going to go with the more translucent, more cloud-like look than what our samples gave us. And then also, Appa is just way too yellow. The color of his fur is just way too yellow. So we need to get that changed. Otherwise, the miniature itself is really durable. His horns, right, is something that we always worry about, these little fine points. They turned out solid. I haven't tried to break one off, but I've been messing with them. Seems really durable. So it's going to piece, it's going to last. So slight changes on these, but mainly just color. That's all the miniatures I've got. So let me go to our player board. Now, the player board, if any of you are familiar with our other game, Company of Heroes, this will be very familiar to how we built this. It's extremely durable, extremely feels great tactilely. And this is what we use to track our current challenge rating, our current mastery levels. It's also where we track where our progression of our training for our harmony cards, and any that we've completed. So this thing is awesome with one small thing, and we're not trying to be perfectionists. We don't want to just spend forever trying to make everything perfect, but this is a highly deluxe game for us, and we want everyone to be in awe when they get this game and they open it up from every single component. So we want to add a little bit more sort of texture or life to this board. It's a little plain. There's a lot of just dark black. There was a texture background, and it's not really coming through. So that's one of the few changes that we want to make to this. We can also make it a titch smaller. So we're going to work on a couple of small little changes on that. We don't think that will delay things really any more than all the rest. So all those three things can all be worked on simultaneously. But otherwise, this thing is awesome. It feels great. Now, a couple of the components I did not get is I did not get our markers for here, and I didn't get our pegs for here. So there are a couple of components I'm missing. Hopefully I can get those soon. I'm just so pleased that everything is either perfect or very, very close to perfect. And then the last item that I have is I have our board. Let me kind of move this stuff out of the way here for you. And the board also turned out really good. We spent a lot of time on, when we play tested it, people kind of lost track of the trails sometimes that they had to follow. And so we did a lot of little things to help really reinforce the trek that Aang and his companions took. And that you're all going to take as companions of Aang in this game. And so we did a lot of things to try to help smooth that out. We changed the route a little bit to move it away. We color coded it. We've just done a lot of little things to make this a just very intuitive game board to use and to play with. And that is it. Those are the components I have to show off. Now the next question is, when are you going to get your game? Right? That's the question everyone wants. Unfortunately, I really don't have an answer for you until we get the next batch of samples back. Now, right now, it is Chinese New Year. So our manufacturer is sort of closed down for the next, we have about a week till he'll be back. They said they'll get started on any new samples immediately, but I don't have a time frame on when we will get those samples. So here's roughly how it will work. Right? We've sent them the information that needs to be changed. Hopefully it should only take them, I have dice. Hold up on timeline. We're going to do dice real quick. I'll get back to the timeline. So let me show off some dice here. I'll bring them up to the camera so you can see better. So let me start with fire dice. So we spent a lot of time working on readability and making sure that when you rolled them, you could see them quite clearly. These turned out really well. They turned out good. I'll get into it in a minute, but we do have some dice that the readability is lacking a little bit. So we need to change the color of the engraving on that. So fire turned out well. We have our earth die. Earth die are really sharp. We are going to probably add a little bit of brown to this one. So again, it's one more little thing that we're going to be kind of perfecting in order to get it just right. Because again, this is a deluxe component. Everyone's paid a good chunk of money for this game. And while no one likes to wait, we'd rather have people kind of wait in order to get a really great game where every component is as close to perfect as we can get, rather than just throw stuff at you. So there's our earth die. Water is really nice. They turned out really good. Again, we're probably going to add a little bit more blue to this. Other than that, they're sharp, nice and legible. Our air die. It's funny, when I was looking at them earlier, I was kind of had a hard time reading them, but maybe it was just because I was in a dungeon basement office. Here they stand out great. So proper lighting really helps out. Otherwise, these air die are perfect. They're so nice. I love the little sort of kind of clouds on the inside. They turned out really sharp. So we're good with those. And I think we're pretty sold on all the rest of them. Let me get you the standard dice. These are the dice you're going to start with. They look great. They're exactly what we wanted. Nothing too crazy going on. They're your standard dice. And very legible. Kind of still cool looking, unique dice. So we're happy with those. We have our leadership dice or non-bender dice. Also turned out really sharp. They're good. Kind of a cool white gray sort color because the leadership dice, right? They're non-benders. We didn't want them to look like any of the elemental dice. And then lastly, we have Aang's die, the Avatar die. Even though there's a lot going on in there, it's still really legible. So when I roll it, I can see it just fine. I can pick those out very easily from here. I don't have to bend over. I can see them easily. And that's from somebody who recently turned 45 and can no longer read anymore. I have to wear reading glasses. It's terrible. First time in my life. All right, so let's go. One last thing I almost forgot. Okay, our dice tower. Kind of like the centerpiece of the add-ons. It's okay. I like the blue. I think the shade of the blue turned out really well. The construction of it is really good, but the color, way too yellow, right? This is more what we were looking for, right? More of a brown. It's dirt, it's brown, it's earth. It's not this sort of yellowish color. So that's going to go away, right? We don't like that. Again, that's an easy change, right? Color, that's easy. The other thing is there's no gold anymore on the, just like this one has. We have all the little gold highlights. We lost the gold highlights on there. So there's a couple of little things that we do need to change on this one. Overall, though, its construction is great. So that's an easy fix. So we do have a couple of, probably about 4 or 5 small fixes that all involve coloration, which is the easiest thing to change. So let's go back to timeline. So I'm guessing it's going to definitely take at least a couple weeks for them to get back from Chinese New Year, get settled back in, get started on the samples. It'll take at least a couple weeks there, going back and forth. Once we get the samples back and we approve of them, because there's more samples missing, right? We need the insert as well. There's the pegs, some markers, things like that. So we do need the rest of the samples. If all of those are solid and we start manufacturing is going to take 2 to 3 months. So just kind of, you can start doing the math in your head a little bit. It's going to be about 2 to 3 months for manufacturing. And then another 2 to 3 months for it to get loaded on the boat, to get packed, loaded on the boat, shipped over to the United States, to Europe, and then delivered. So, and again, I am sorry, we were hoping to get these things back like 5 months ago. We're pretty much at least 6 months out from delivery. So we're really far behind. Again, I'm really sorry. The one redeeming thing is this thing is awesome. The gameplay is great. The quality is going to be amazing and blow you away. We really appreciate all your patience. If you have any questions, just reach out to us and ask us. We're going to be doing updates as soon as we get these samples. So kind of every milestone, we'll get those samples. And at the very least, we'll do an update once a month regarding timeline. Even if it's, hey, no samples yet. That was a comment that we've gotten multiple times. We've been trying to do a lot of updates, but a lot of times they're thematic updates. They're showing you gameplay. They're talking about new challenges, things like that. We'll include at least once a month on those. Hey, how are we doing with production? Where are we at on the production? Thanks again for your support, and let us know if you need anything.